So good day everyone. In this video lesson, we will discuss about the normal distribution and its properties. Our objectives: first, describe a normal random variable and its characteristics, and second, draw a normal curve and state the empirical rule. So when we say normal probability distribution, it is a probability distribution of continuous random variables. So pag sinabi nating normal distribution, this is considered, no, as the most important curve in statistics. Bakit? Ano yung mga reason why ito yung pinako-considered na most important curve in statistics? First, so many random variables are either normally distributed or at least approximately normal distributed. So like for example, the height, weight, and examination score, the log of the length of light of some equipment are among few random variables that are approximately normal distributed. So although the distribution are only approximately normal, the approximation is usually quite close. And also, it is easy for mathematical statistician to work with the normal curve. So a number of hypotheses, tests, and the regression model are based on the assumption that the underlying data have normal distribution. So like for example, for instance, so the distribution that has been found convenient for modeling the length of life of an equipment. So this is the Vibal distribution. So again, so kaya kinukonsider natin na the normal probability distribution is the most important curve in statistics. So meron tayong properties ng normal curve. So ayan po yung illustration natin. So first, the distribution curve is a bell shape. So again, the distribution of a normal curve is a bell shape. So yung nakikita nyo sa figure natin. So this is one of the property of normal curve. So next is the curve is symmetrical about its center. So ibig sabihin class, kapag sinabi natin symmetrical, so kung anong sukat, no, dito sa left side ng graph natin, yun din yung sukat sa right side. So kagaya na nakikita nyo, so on the left side 50%, sa right side 50%. So same sila. Next, the mean, median, and mode coincide at the center. So nasa gitna, ibig sabihin the mean, median, and mode are equal. So tatandaan natin yan. The tails of the curve flatten out indefinitely along the horizontal axis but never touch, or the curve is asymptotic to the baseline. So pag sinabi nating asymptotic class, papalapit lang siya ng papalapit sa x-axis natin. Pero never siyang magta-touch. Ibig sabihin pa-close lang, napa-close siya dun sa x-axis natin. So that is the tail of the normal curve. And also, the area, okay, yung area under the curve is 1. Ibig sabihin, kapag kinuha natin yung total area nito ng normal curve natin, that is equivalent to 1. Or that is represent the probability, so pag probability that is 100%, or proportion, or the percentage associated with the specific sets of measurement values. So, pakitandaan lang itong mga properties ng normal curve natin. Meron may dalawang factor na nakaka-apekto sa normal curve natin. Una, yung value ng mean. Okay, so yung value ng mean at yung value ng standard deviation. So, nagbabago yung itsura ng graph natin depende sa value ng mean at depende sa value ng standard deviation. Why? So, the change of value of the mean shift the graph of the normal curve to the right or to the left. So, kapag positive or mataas yung value ng mean, nagmo-move yung graph natin, yung normal curve natin, right side. Pero kapag mababa or pababa yung value ng yung mean natin, pababa yung value ng mean, yung graph niya o yung normal curve natin, so nagsi-shift siya papuntang left side. So mamaya ipapakita ko sa inyo. The standard deviation determines the shape of the graph. So depende sa value ni standard deviation kung ang anong itsura ng magiging graph mo. Okay? Kung sobrang lapad ba niya or masyado siyang makitid. So, depende sa value ni standard deviation. So, this is particularly to the height and the width of the curve. So, when the standard deviation is large, the normal curve is short and wide. So, tandaan. So, kapag yung standard deviation natin ay malaki, so yung normal curve natin is short and wide. While a small value for the standard deviation yields skinnier and taller graph. Okay. So para makita nyo, no, para maintindihan nyo yung sinasabi ko dito at ma-visualize nyo, ipapakita ko sa iyo using the normal curve. Okay. So as you can see class, so using the Desmos, no, makikita natin. So sabi ko sa inyo, yung B natin, representation yan for the value of mean. Tapos yung A natin, representation for the standard deviation. So tingnan nyo maigi class. Kapag pataas ng pag increasing no yung value ng mean natin, okay? Tingnan nyo ha. So nag-shift lang yung graph natin papuntang right side. Ibig sabihin hindi nagbabago yung taas, yung laki ng graph, pero nagmo-move siya papuntang right side. Pero kapag pababa naman yung value ng mean natin, okay, tingnan nyo, papunta naman siya sa left side. So, tingnan nyo yung value dito ha, dyan yung makikita. So, kung kanina, pag pataas, okay, kung mataas yung value ng mean, ibig sabihin, nagmo-move siya pa right side. Okay? Kapag pababa naman or negative, no, let's say yan, o yan, bumababa yung value ng mean natin, nagmo-move siya pa left side. So, paano naman natin nakikita yung magiging itsura ng graph kapag nagbabago yung value ng standard deviation? So, yung standard deviation natin dito is 1.1. So, ilagay natin sa 2.6. Ayan, makikita nyo class. So, sabi nga kanina, sabi sa inyo, ang standard deviation kapag malaki ang value ng standard deviation, ano siya? Maliit lang. Okay, so maliit lang siya, no, 'di ba? Sabi kanina. All right. And then, pero malawak, no? Mababa lang yung mababa lang yung height ng normal curve pero malawak. Okay, pero kapag niliitan natin, okay, so tingnan nyo class. Okay, kapag maliit yung value ng standard deviation natin, ayan, magiging ganyan yung graph natin. So, yan yung pinapaliwanag ko sa inyo para makita nyo talaga, okay, na kapag malaki yung standard deviation, gumaganyan yung graph natin. And then kapag maliit yung standard deviation natin, maliit yung value ng standard deviation natin, so makikita nyo na paganyan na yung graph niya. Okay? Sige. So, yan yung dalawang factor na nakaka-apekto sa normal curve natin. Yung value ng mean saka value ng standard deviation natin. Okay. So, the standard normal curve is a normal probability distribution that has a mean value. So, yung symbol natin, this is a population mean that equal to 0 and standard deviation equal to 1. So, kapag ang mean natin is 0 and then yung standard deviation is 1, that is a standard normal curve. Okay? So, ano yung equation ng standard normal curve natin? So, that is y is equal to e raised to negative 1/2 times the quantity of x minus the population mean divided by the standard deviation squared all over the standard deviation times the square root of 2 pi. Okay, so yung y natin, where y is the height of the curve, particular values of x. And then, x is the any score in the distribution. Okay, this symbol is for standard deviation of the population. And this symbol is ginagamit natin for mean of the population. And yung pi natin, the value of pi is 3.1416. Okay, yung letter E natin, this is for natural logarithm, no? The value is 2.7183. Pero hindi tayo, sa lesson natin ngayon, hindi tayo magfo-focus for computing using this formula. Okay? Another class, so may tinatawag tayong empirical rule. So note, also known as 68, 95, or 99.7% rule. So, it tells us is that for a normally distributed variable, the following are true. First, okay, so again, bago ko ipakita yung sa 68%, 95%, and 99%, so pakitandaan ng class that the empirical rule is actually a theoretical result based on the analysis of the normal distribution. So, kapag kukunin natin, okay, let's say this is our normal curve. So, makikita natin dito yung sakop lang, okay, nung 68%, 95%, and 99.7%. So, kapag approximately 68% of the data that lie within one standard deviation of the mean. So, saan yon? Mula dito kay negative 1, papunta lang dun kay positive 1. So, that is the 68% of the data. Okay? And then, kapag kukunin natin yung range or interval nung score or nung distribution of 68%, so ang gagawin lang natin, that is x is greater than, so perform the operation, mean minus the standard deviation, and dito, but less than the mean plus standard deviation. So, ganun lang kukunin natin yung range or interval ng 68%. Kapag approximately 95% of the data, it lie within two standard deviation of the mean. So, mula dito kay negative 2 to positive 2, so that is a 95% no, of the data. And then, we're going to use this formula. No? The value of the population mean minus 2 times the standard deviation. So, kung dito minus this sa kabila, plus. And ganun din dito. For 99.7%, so that is approximately of the data lie within 3 standard deviation. So, mula naman dito, negative 3 to 3. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, kapag kinuha natin yung interval or yung range nung 99.7%, we're going to use this formula. So, tatandaan nyo lang ito. Okay? So, let's validate the empirical rule. I'll give you one example para ma-validate natin yung sinasabi ng empirical rule. Okay. What is the frequency and relative frequency of babies weight that are within? Okay, ito yung mga given ng data. So, meron tayong 36 weights of babies. Okay, so unang gagawin natin dito, kailangan makuha natin yung population mean. So, yung population mean, that is the average, di ba? Okay, average. So, paano kinocompute yung average? Add lang natin lahat, divide 36, or pwede rin naman i-compute nyo using the group data, no? Measure of central density using the group data. So, pero mas hassle yon, mas madali, add nyo na lang, then divide sa 36. So, makukuha nyo yung population mean dyan is 6.11. At kung hindi pa kayo familiar kung paano kinukuha yung average o yung pag-compute ng mean, so, meron tayong mga video lesson, no, sa Wow Math channel natin. So, hanapin nyo lang doon kung paano mag-compute ng mean, no, for group data and ungroup data. At also, to solve standard deviation para malaman nyo rin. So, kapag kinuha natin yung standard deviation, this is 1.63. So, first, unang yung gagawin dito, class, ay i-arrange muna para madali natin mamaya mabilang kung ilang data yung sakop dun sa 68% or kung ilang percent man yon, depende dun sa bibigay na yung sa tanong, no? So, kailangan muna i-arrange natin mula sa mababa pataas yung data. Okay? So, first, what is the frequency or the percentage of one standard deviation from the mean? So, ito yon. So, ang sagot is 72%. So, bakit 72%? Una yung gagawin, gagawa muna kayo ng normal curve. So, gawa muna kayo. And then, sa pinakagitna ng normal curve nyo class, dyan nyo ilalagay yung value ng mean, which is 6.11. So, kung ano yung value ng mean natin, dyan nyo itatapat sa mismong gitna ng normal distribution. And then, ano ang gamit ng standard deviation? So, ito yung gagawin natin o gagamitin natin kapag papunta ka sa right side plus the standard deviation. So, 6.11 plus 1.63, that is 7.74. Plus 1.63, that is 9.37. Plus 1.63, that is 11. So, kung dito addition, dito naman subtraction. 6.11 minus 1.63, that is 4.48. 4.48 minus 1.63, that is 2.85. 2.85 minus 1.63, that is 1.22. Okay? So, yan muna ang una yung gagawin. Saka natin kunin, since ang tinatanong is one standard deviation from the mean, so mula dito yan. Mula dito hanggang dyan. So, anong mga weight ng babies yung sakop from 4.48 to 7.74. So, kaya 72% kasi meron tayong 26. So, bilangin natin. So, ang range lang niya mula 4.48 to 7.74. Since naka-arrange na to from lowest to highest, so simula tayo sa 4.48. So, ito ay hindi pwede kasi 4.38 pa lang. So, dito tayo mag-start kay 4.69. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So hanggang kay 7.68 lang kasi yung kasunod na is 8.47. Ang sabi hanggang 7.74 lang. So 26 lahat. So, since 36 lahat to, 26 out of 36, that is 72%. So, paano kinuha? 26 divide 36 times 100, kaya 72%. So, next is the two standard deviation from the mean. So, gawa rin ulit tayo. So, mula dito, ito yung 95% of the data. No? This is the 95% of the data mula sa 2.85 up to 9.37. So, kapag binilang natin ito, so, mula 2.85, mag-start tayo kay 2.93. Okay? Start tayo. Dito kasi 2.24 na to. Hanggang kay 9.37, so, hanggang kay 9.01 lang. So, kung 36 ito, meron lang dalawang di kasama, therefore, that is 34. So, yung two standard deviation from the mean, that is 34 out of 36 or 95%. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. And then, kapag kukunin natin yung three standard deviation from the mean, so that is, of course, 100% of the graph. So, mula dito kay 1.22 to 11. So, kapag lahat na to ay included. So, 36 out of 36, that is 100%. Next. Okay, example number 2. The score of the senior high school students in their statistics and probability quarterly examination are normally distributed with a mean of 35 and standard deviation of 5. So, itong problem na to kinuha ko sa statistics and probability of 5 na available sa DepEd Commons. So, we're going to answer the following. First, what percent of the scores are between 30 to 40? Pangalawa, what scores fall within 95% of the distribution? So, sa letter A muna tayo. Again, yung unang yung gagawin ay gumawa muna ng normal curve. And then, i-label natin. So, sa gitna, laging ilagay yung value ng mean. That is 35. Okay, so ito yon. And then, the standard deviation is 5. So, pag pa-right, mag-plus 5 lang kayo. Dito naman sa left, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. Okay, kaya siya 40. So, 35 plus 5, 40. Plus 5, 45. Plus 5, 50. 35 minus 5, 30. Minus 5, 25. Minus 5, 20. So, ganun lang ha. Ganun lagi ang gagawin nyo kapag gagawa kayo ng normal curve. Ang ilagay nyo sa gitna is yung value ng mean natin. So ang tanong class, ilang percent daw no, ng data na ang score ay from 30 to 40, ito yon. And that is 68%, di ba? Sa using the empirical rule, that is 68% kasi one standard deviation from the mean, di ba? Is one standard deviation from the mean, so therefore the score that falls between 30 and 40 is approximately 68% of the distribution. So for letter B, what score fall within 95% of the distribution? So using the graph, so ang 95% natin ay simula 25 to 45. Okay? From the score 25 up to 45. So ano daw yung score, no? Fall within the 95%. So this is our 95%. So therefore, the score corresponding to 95% of the distribution are scores from 25 to 45. So another example, so use the empirical rule to complete the following table. Write on the respective column the range or interval of the scores based on the given parameters. So kukunin natin yung 68%, 95%, and 99.7%. Okay? Na interval. So, for now, letter A, ang given nating population mean is 20 and standard deviation is 2. So, paano computing yung 68% o yung interval ng 68%? First, so, di ba yung x dapat natin, okay, dito, ima-minus natin muna. So, yung given ng population mean minus the standard deviation. So, 20 minus 2, that is 18. And then dito naman plus. 20 plus 2, that is 22. So, therefore, yung score natin is from 18 no, up to 22. So, yun yung interval natin or yung range natin ng score. From 18 to 22. Sa 95%, so, that is 20 minus 2 times 2. So, bakit 2? Okay, that is the standard deviation. So, ano yun lang natin? Sundan lang natin yung formula. So, kung minus dito, dito naman is plus. 20 plus 2 times 2, that is 24. So, therefore, yung interval ng score natin is from 16 to 24. Sa 99.7% naman, so, 20 minus 2 times 3. Kasi, itong ano natin, that will be what? So 3 na siya kasi pang 99.7%. Okay? So ito yung nasa formula natin. Ito yun, no? 3 times, dapat nauna yung 3 muna. Okay? So pwede yung palitan na lang. So dapat 20 minus 3 times 2 dapat is equal to 14. And then dito naman 20 plus 3 times 2, that is 26. So, ibig sabihin yung interval dito is mula sa 14 to 26. Another example, we have 87. Yung value ng mean is 87 at yung value ng standard deviation is 5.5. Ganun lang din, minus and add. So, ibig sabihin yung interval ng score sa 68% is 81.5 to 92.5. Okay, sa 95% naman, so that is 76 and 98. So yung interval ng score is from 76 to 98. And then sa 99.7% naman, so yung ano natin, ng score natin 70.5 and 103.5. So yung interval ng score is from 70.5 to 103.5. Another example, illustrate the following distribution through a diagram naman. Okay, so gamit yung population mean and standard deviation, paano natin ipapakita using the diagram? So una muna, of course, gumuhit ka muna ng normal curve. So again, ang sabi ko, dapat nasa gitna ay yung population mean. Kagaya na nakikita nyo. So dapat yung 20 nasa gitna. And then, since yung standard deviation natin is 2, so mag-add kayo dito ng 2. Plus 2 ng plus 2 kayo. Dito, minus 2 kayo. Okay? So, kung kukunin natin yung 68%, so, ibig sabihin, yung graph natin, kapag sinade natin yung 68% mula dito kay 18 papunta sa kay 22. So ito 'yon. Okay, mula 18 to 22. Kapag 95% naman, mula 16 hanggang kay 24. Okay? Kapag 99.7% mula kay 14 to 26. Another example, kapag yung population mean is 87 and standard deviation is 5.5, so si 87 na sa gitna. So mag-add tayo ng 5.5 tapos add ulit ng 5.5, so ito makukuha natin. At dito naman sa left side, magsasubtract tayo ng 5.5. So kung kukunin natin yung 68% ng data natin, so magsisimula yan kay 81.5 hanggang kay 92.5. So ito yon. And then yung 95% natin, magsisimula naman kay 76 to 98. And then ganun din kay 99.7, magsisimula kay 70.5 to 103.5. Okay? So yan lamang po. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button para updated kayo for more video tutorial. This is your guide in learning your math lesson, your Wow Math channel.